Okay, so I dragged this polygon, and now it says there are 73,218 people within a 7-minute drive who like gardening, yoga, and brunch. What am I even looking at?
You're looking at site to do business. And that polygon, that's power, my friend. Most brokers don't even scratch the surface of what this platform can do.
Yeah, well, I scratched it. Now I have 14 tabs open and my computer's making airplane noises.
That's why we brought in today's guest, the guy who teaches CCIMs how to master site to do business. He taught me how to make smarter site selections, tell better data stories, and build real client confidence.
Wait, so this isn't just a big fancy map?
Nope. It's the best market research tool in the game.
Oh, cool. So, can I close the Zillow tab?
Please do.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Commercially Speaking, the podcast where one of us speaks fluent investment strategy and the other is still figuring out what a 1031 exchange is exchanged for.
I'm Barron, CCIM, broker, co-founder of Hearthstone Capital Fund, CCIM instructor, and the oldest of 6, which means I've mastered explaining complex things to someone eating a Go-Gurt.
And I'm Timmy Barron, ADHD, actor, improv comedian, and someone who recently learned what a ring study is and then immediately forgot it. But here's the deal. I may not be a CRE pro, but the first time Bo showed me site to do business, I felt like I had just found a government conspiracy.
He really did. He leaned in and whispered, "Wait, this is legal?"
You can literally zoom in and find the exact neighborhoods where people who drink craft beer, shop at Whole Foods, and do hot yoga live. You want to know where urban chic meets dorms to diplomas? Site to do business will tell you.
It's like if Google Maps went to Harvard and started investing in multifamily.
And today, we're going behind the curtain with a guy who trains CCIMs how to actually use this power.
He's the national instructor for site to do business, the brains behind the tool brokers either avoid or pretend they understand.
He's who Bo goes to when he has questions. He's who I'd go to if I ever played a broker in a movie.
And he's about to walk us through the psychographic crystal ball that is STDB.
Please welcome the guy who could tell you the average household income of your soul, Ben Wilson!
I have never been introduced that way.
Great!
But thank you so much for having me. It's excellent to be on the show today.
Now, I must confess.
Yeah.
This is take 2 of this episode.
That's right. That's right.
The first time, just for our listeners, the first time we had this episode, Ben's on, we're going through some stuff. About 15 minutes in, I get a call from my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I grab my phone. I even show it to the guys. I'm saying, look, the Brewers are already beating the Cubs. Bummer. Anyway.
It was very exciting in that moment there.
I get this call from my mother-in-law, Miss
yes.
Donna, whom I love. And I'm like, hey, you think I'm going to get in trouble for ignoring this call? And I ignore the call. Because we're recording an episode.
Right. You can call her back.
She calls right back. And I'm like, oh, that's the code for I need to take this. So I'm like, excuse me, guys.
Yep.
And what had happened is my father-in-law had taken a spill. Mm-hmm. She wasn't able to get him up. Mm-hmm. And so my office is pretty close to the house. And so I got to run over there and
yeah. And then
Timmy and Ben,
yeah,
they finished the episode.
Right.
But there were some things that I specifically wanted to cover with Ben, and so we decided to have him back. So this is take 2, and hopefully my in-laws will stay seated.
Well, I think you were just looking for a free site to do business training.
Maybe so.
Right. You might be right.
But well, it's only because I'm an extender of you guys sometimes. I'm going to teach in Louisville in a couple weeks, 102. We're going to be getting into site to do business. I'm going to have to turn around and teach this to others, which helps you. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Come join us in Louisville.
That sounds good.
That's right. And we got a plug for it at the very end, too, to have you go through it, especially since we have Ben on today. Now, I've got a question before we jump into any of this. First of all, it's true. I loved watching Bo work site to do business. Out of all the tools that he's shown me and all the demonstrations that we've done, this one I absolutely loved. And one of the reasons was the psychographics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, if an actor could have this tool, the amount of character research they can do is phenomenal. And even when you're looking and it names it urban chic, and then it's like, who are we? And it explains exactly who urban chic are, their what they do around where they live, and then showing me all the data that it can produce and it is powerful. All that stuff is crazy. My question is, what percentage of CCIMs, because it's mainly a tool that CCIMs use, I assume, right? Tell me, like, what's the percentage you think of brokers who use it versus CCIMs that use it or are familiar with it?
We've probably got the guy that can actually answer that question, but appraisers use Site to Do Business. People who aren't part of the institute, that are not CCIM designees or candidates, they can buy a subscription and use it. So there's people outside of it's not an exclusive CCIM tool. However, 100% of CCIMs, as part of their annual dues, have access to Site to Do Business.
Yeah.
So everybody who's a candidate or a designee has this as a tool at their disposal.
Wow.
But there's people outside of the institute that also use it, and I don't know what the percentages are, but Ben, you might.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably in our world, it's probably 70-30 CCIMs to non-CCIMs. And then, that 30% is made up of, economic development, appraisers, bankers, developers that are just outside of the CCIM community. It's kind of all over the board. I've been seeing a lot of people in the franchise business picking it up lately, actually.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
No, so some of these like big franchise sales groups that, they might have, 100 Taco Bells in a portfolio, and they'll want to make sure that they're, on the right track with their development of those kinds of things.
Yeah. So give us a little background of your involvement with Site to Do Business, what exactly you do there. It blows my mind what all it can do. And it blows my mind a little bit as well that there aren't it could be used way outside of commercial real estate, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I got into this about 18 years ago, and I've had just about every role that you can have here at Site to Do Business. I've spent quite a bit of time in the customer service world, trying to help people through, case studies, different episodes of, different renditions of the site over the years. And then my job is really kind of over the years dwarfed into a lot of CCIM training and online training. But then also the biggest thing that consumes my day is trying to get this sold to people in the outside world. And so you got about 1,500 users outside of the CCIM community that, they like to have their hands held. And so we do whatever we can for them.
Now, before we go any further, let's carve out like a 30-second commercial here, because what's it cost for somebody outside of the institute to purchase a subscription to use Site to Do Business?
Yeah, $1,695 annually.
Okay.
Whoa, that's it?
That's it. Now, the CCIM annual dues are like, what, $695 or something like that?
$695 or $750, or maybe that's if you pay them late. I think you're right. It's $695. That sounds right.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. And so you get much more than Site to Do Business, but as part of that, you get Site to Do Business.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
So for all those who may look at this demonstration and go, I need that in my business. Like if they watch this today, I need that in my business. The best way is to join the dang institute.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it just comes with. And you get a significant discount on the awesomeness that we're about to demonstrate here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commercial's over.
So let's do it. Is it time to do that?
Hey, if you're new to commercial real estate investing, you probably know the feeling. Brokers, underwriting, raising capital. Where do you even begin? And that's why CRE Investor Coach exists, to give new and emerging investors a clear step-by-step path to closing their first deal. I believe in this program so much, I actually joined the team as an adjunct faculty member. That's how committed I am to helping more people get into the space right now. Whether you want to go at your own pace with on-demand training, launch your first investment with expert coaching, coaching, or scale with a mastermind of other ambitious investors, there's a roadmap here for you. Inside, you'll learn how to define your investor identity, analyze deals with confidence, talk to brokers like a pro, raise capital, and build a real acquisition pipeline without all the guesswork. This is about building a business that blesses your life, not breaks your spirit. So if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and actually get in the game, check out the link in the show notes and start your journey today. Learn, launch, and scale with CRE Investor Coach. This episode is also brought to you by Site to Do Business, commercial real estate's most advanced toolkit, providing commercial real estate professionals like me with premier data, mapping, and marketing tools to win business and revolutionize decision-making. Visit stdb.com to learn more. Let's jump in here because I sent Ben some information earlier, and here's the scenario.
Okay.
And so I wanted him to show us how we might skin this cat using mapping and data.
Great.
Okay. Demographics, psychographics, all that stuff.
And for anybody listening, this is going to be pretty visual heavy. It's going to be enjoyable audio only, but what you can see here is going to be phenomenal. So,
right.
Yeah,
so,
you might want to go to YouTube or Spotify.
Right. Good. So here's this scenario. I've got a buddy of mine who has a company called COhatch, and it's a little bit like this building, how we, executive office suites. And so there's a co-working executive office suite functionality of these COhatch locations.
Okay.
But it's also, it goes well beyond that, what they do. And so I don't spend a whole lot of time explaining COhatch, but it's a really, really cool concept. And they have locations all over. They might have 20 locations. And so I'm talking with, I don't know if he's the president or the VP of something, but we're having this conversation, and he makes this comment to me. He's like, hey, this location we have in Duluth, Georgia, underperforms our other locations. And so right off the bat, I'm thinking, I bet there's a way to understand why.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what are your top performing locations? And so he gives me the locations of like their top 10 or 12 locations. And to them, before they opened the Duluth, Georgia location, they thought it would be right up there with everything else. Like it felt like a top performing, and it just has underperformed. So my question to Ben was, hey, can we take a look at these certain locations and see if we can identify from the data what makes these top performing locations so good?
Great.
And what's different about the one in Duluth?
Love it.
And then I would also say, after we do this, I would love to hear from you, like, what do we need to be paying attention to as it comes to Site to Do Business, some of the new tools? I know AI is starting to work its way in there. And
right.
I'd love to have you take us through some of that as well. But
Gotcha. Okay, so what you had sent, I had never heard of COhatch, but did a little bit of research into the company and started out just by creating that list of the good stores. I thought that was a good place to start. And what I wanted to do is just kind of get a visualization of where those were located. And I got to know, are they based in Columbus? Is that kind of home base for them?
it is, I believe. Yeah.
So
they started there.
Okay.
I believe. Mm-hmm.
So this is going to seem a little counterintuitive, but we're going to start with those good stores, top performing COhatch locations. And I imported that file, and we had the addresses of those locations from the sheet that you sent. And so we just wanted to drop those on the map. And I think it was among top performing stores. We had one down in Lakeland, which, our good CCIM friend and 102 instructor Gary Ralston, I'm sure would have been thrilled to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple in Indianapolis, and what do we have? A couple in the Columbus, Cincinnati area, one up in Cleveland. And so I mapped those sites, and I thought, okay, I need to know what is it that make these stores tick. And so, we're trying to create some sort of analysis area that replicates what a normal drive time might be for one of these sites. So generally we'd be thinking, 10-minute drive time, 15-minute drive time, 10-mile radius, something like that. But I thought, we're actually going to go a different direction here, because I just need to know specifically about the area and its immediate, characteristics. I want to know not what's, who my customers are. I want to know who is right there. And so what I did is I actually created study areas around all of those for just like a 3-minute drive time. And so you're going 3-minute drive time, that's nothing. And you're right. It isn't, but it tells the story of what's going on in the most immediate area. So we kind of started there. And
now let me just narrate this a little bit.
Okay.
What Ben has done so far is he's uploaded a spreadsheet of these top locations that I gave him earlier today. And he's uploaded those so they drop pins on the map. So we've created these sites of these top performing locations. And then now what he's just talked about that he's done is he created a 3-minute drive time around each one of these sites. So now we have these study areas that we can compare and we can start to draw some conclusions. So he's got, I don't know, I can't really tell, 8 or 9 locations that are now on the map.
Yeah. It looks like we got 9 sites saved now. And so what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to say, okay, we know these are the top performing stores. And we could create a comparison report and we could figure out what's different about them. But in my eyes, they're kind of, we can collect them all and put them together and say, hey, let's take a look at all of these. What are the characteristics of all of these at once?
Oh,
and so we capture them and we say, okay, what do we want to do with this study area? We got these 9 different 3-minute drive times. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a site for the combined areas. And so if you take all 9 of those areas and put them together, you're actually only talking about 10 square miles. And so I'm going to say, this is my target demographic. And so the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going to pull up an infographic, and this infographic is just going to be the Tapestry Profile. That's the one that I have set as my default. And the reason I wanted to know specifically about this was because I just want to figure out what's going on here, in these combined areas. We're talking about, median household income. 106,000. Okay, well, right off the bat, that's telling me we're talking about an area that's certainly a little bit more affluent than the national average. We're talking about median age, just a little bit lower than the national average. Median home value, about 20% higher. You can get an idea about the diversity in this area. But what I was really looking for is over here on the right side of the table. And so what we find here among our top performing stores is that we got
top performing COhatches.
Yes. Our top performing stores, about 20% of our population fall into one of everyone's favorite segments, laptops and lattes, which is kind of perfect for a co-working space, right? You couldn't make that up.
Right.
We got city greens, we've got top tier, and we've got urban chic. Well, if you add all those together, you're talking about over half of the population falls into those segments. So we'll remember that, and we're going to come back to it in just a few minutes. But while I was continuing to try to get a better feel for just, okay, what is it about this area, about these areas where we're having success? What is it that's making them tick? I thought, well, one of the other things I can do while I'm at it is I can go in and I can create a points of interest search. And so again, we've got these 9 different top performing stores. We got these little drive times around them. And I don't want to look at all the areas. What I want to look at is my target market. So that 10 square miles. And I want to know all the businesses that are typically around these locations. And so I'm going to come in here and do a search, and I'm going to search for all the businesses within my study areas. And I'm going to find that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5,000 businesses in the immediate area. And the reason that I like to do this is because I can go in and look at the filters. So filters is the different ways that we can look at this information. But what I like about this is the ability to see the frequency of businesses that actually show up. We got 79 ATMs. We got electric charging stations. So again, kind of we're thinking about that co-working space. It's people that need to be able to park their electric cars. We're seeing Edward Jones. We're seeing 8 Starbucks locations. We got to have some coffee nearby. We got to have post office. We got to have Wendy's. We got to have, some banks, ice cream shops. We got, Chipotle, Chico's. There's a certain type of business that's typically locating around these high performing stores. And so I think it's just a really easy way to kind of get a feel for the neighborhood, if you will, by just going in here and kind of figuring out what is it that's making these locations work.
Right. Now, when you're showing all those, it just sounds like the things that are normally around these neighborhoods that, I didn't see anything that popped out that was unusual.
Yeah,
it just seems normal.
I think for the most part, you're right. I think the things that kind of, when I just glanced at it, when I saw electric charging stations, okay, so you've got within a 3-minute drive time, you got 27 of these things. I mean, that seemed like a lot. And then Starbucks, I mean, the fact that you've got 8 Starbucks within a 3-minute drive time of 9 locations. I mean, co-tenancy, where co-tenancy works, I would say that's a pretty strong correlation.
Okay. Yeah.
But
so
as you kind of continue to go down
stations.
the list, you start to get into these things where there's 3 or 4 locations, maybe a little less so. But where I see that. These lifestyle centers, I see people, using the co-tenancy trick all the time with those because, you put your Soul Cycle across from your Whole Foods, which is next door to your Poke Bowl
Hot
shop.
Yoga
What's that?
Hot yoga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lululemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they almost build on each other. There's going to be a Lululemon down the street and,
right.
You kind of get the idea there. But what I did from here was I thought, okay, well, we've got these locations. We've got this kind of demographic profile. Well, let's go figure out what's going on with our store in Duluth. And so we're looking at a 3-minute drive time. So small study area. And if we take a look at our infographic, what we're going to find is, you'll remember our group of kind of tapestry segments that were really popping out at us earlier was laptops and lattes, city greens, top tier, and urban chic. Well, this is
none of those.
Modern minds. You do get flourishing families, savvy suburbanites, room to roam. And so it's like, this is a different group of people. We get a little bit older age, our income's a little bit higher. But if we were to actually go in and start looking at these segments, like modern minds, for example.
Yeah, I'm so curious about modern minds.
So we're finding like population density higher, our age is a little lower. But if we actually want to go in here and find out more about this group, like this is kind of a nice little profile that tells us a little bit of the story. But if we actually view the segment profile, we're going to get the full overview, of this group of people. And so, what are the key statistics? Do they have their bachelor's degrees?
Are we on a different,
nope.
Or
did you share this tab?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Sorry. We get a little age breakdown, a little income breakdown, urbanicity, we're a little more suburban, home value, home ownership, unemployment, lifestyle patterns. Do we see anything that really sticks out there? But the thing that I kind of noticed is, okay, located mainly in the centers of major metropolitan areas. And so it kind of took me back to our original search of these top performing locations: Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis.
One of the things that I learned just talking to the COhatch folks is they will not go downtown.
They won't go downtown Atlanta or down.
They have suburban locations.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. That's kind of
so like Duluth is downtown Duluth, but Duluth is essentially a suburb of or a bedroom community of Atlanta. Like they wouldn't put one of these downtown Atlanta.
Okay.
So they're after that suburban feel. So if you zoomed into these other places, it's not downtown Columbus.
Right.
outside of that.
Yeah. Okay. And so, and when I was looking at the demographics, I kind of assumed that was the case, because what I was thinking, and, I mean, I haven't fully dove into, the full amount of analytics that you could do, but when you kind of see, businesses kind of out here on the loop, and then the same thing with Indianapolis and Cincinnati. They're not in that urban core area. They're staying away from those. They're going out into kind of these wealthy suburbs. But just given their locations that I was seeing here, the fact that you're looking at Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, you're not talking about New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, DFW, Houston, Philadelphia, DC. I mean, those are your major markets. Well, Atlanta is right there. When you talk about, top 10 markets across the country. And so I kind of started to think, I'm in the Dallas market, and we use co-working space because I work from home. And anytime we have the opportunity to, have a meeting with our entire staff, we're going to go get a location. And I'm not going to say that that's, a lot of these people's, memberships are probably for, monthly access. Obviously we would be more of like a daily customer, but those daily customers are not going to go into a location, or they're not going to use a location that doesn't have access to an airport, was my thought. If you think about what does it look like to go from Hartsfield, Jackson, Atlanta International Airport to Duluth, that's not happening. That drive, I mean, you might as well be driving to Egypt.
That's right. It's on the opposite end for anybody.
You're on the opposite end of the world from there. And so I'm not saying that makes up a huge percentage of these people's co-working. Obviously there's, the day users, and then there's those monthly users, but it was just something that kind of stuck out to me when I was thinking about this.
So are you saying the other ones, all the top performing COhatches are located closer to an airport?
Yeah, you're probably getting a little closer to an airport, and even if you're not, close to an airport, you're not in such a major market in a place like Indianapolis or Cincinnati where you can't get to the airport. I mean, when you're talking about Atlanta, you're talking about, you better plan your day. You better plan your day around that drive.
Right.
And so I started thinking about, okay, well, who is our user for this? And so I started kind of thinking about some different markets, that might make sense. And the ones that kind of came to mind for me were, your Raleigh, North Carolinas of the world, your San Antonios, your Nashvilles, your Kansas Cities, your Salt Lake Cities. These are like the markets that are at the bottom half of the top 50 markets in the country. You're not talking about, these top 10 markets in the country. You're talking about places where, you have like a couple of pro sports teams, or maybe one pro sports team. You don't get all four of them.
Yeah.
And so
I can tell you that COhatch's model is all about building community and serving that local community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, the airport may play a role with, like you're saying, but they don't seem to be trying to draw that kind of client. They're really trying to attract the people that are right there.
Sure.
And so weddings are there, corporate meetings, like they're serving that local area.
Sure. And so one of the other things that I was thinking about is, in those urban core markets that I was talking about, your, Atlantas, your DCs, your LAs, you got a ton of office space. Mm-hmm. You've got a huge office space, oversupply, where in some of these more middle tier markets, you just don't have such an aggressive overbuild of office space. But then I kind of was just kind of continuing to play around with it and continuing to kind of think through, like, how else could I kind of see what the effective area is, for a potential COhatch location. And so I went in and I said, okay, let's take a look at these locations again. So we have these locations, And what I wanted to do was just take a look again. We're interested in that Tapestry data. And so I said, there's these obvious 4 kind of groups of people that are our customer. So our laptops and lattes, our city greens, our top tier, our urban chic. And so instead of looking at one of them, I thought, well, maybe I'll just create my own custom variable where I'm actually looking at all of them together. And so we can come in here and we create this advanced custom variable where we're looking at our laptops and lattes. You say, okay, let's look at those people. But we're not just looking at them. We want to add in our city greens. And so let's take a look at those people too. And we're also interested in that top tier segment.
Now, what he's doing here, Timmy, this is what I like to call the cocktail mixer.
Oh, right.
So he's got that section down there where he's combining these variables.
I hadn't heard that
into
before.
A cocktail
I like the
shaker.
cocktail mixer.
He's like shaking it up. These are the different ingredients, and he's creating his own cocktail demographic or psychographic or tapestry.
Because these are our people. I mean, we know our top performing stores. We know, like you mentioned earlier, that urban chic.
Urban chic. Who named these?
Oh, there was probably someone who gets paid good money for Esri. That's our vendor for this.
Oh, gotcha. Esri, that's coming from Esri because these names are fantastic and just they're
fun to say. Urban chic is fun to say.
Right. And it's impressive that all this existed before ChatGPT as well,
Yeah, but they do tell the story. They tell the story of the group of people. So
yeah, they're great names.
So
that's what I love so much about it, the telling the story of these people, and somebody, you're like, oh, I've got a friend that fits in that box.
Right.
Yeah. I know a lot. I know several people who wish wish they were urban chic as well.
So
I wonder if there's a category for that person. That
the wannabe,
urban chics and those who wish they were.
Yeah. Wannabe urban chics.
Yeah.
Not quite there, but
all right. So Timmy, look at this map now.
All right.
Okay.
So hold on. We're kind of getting there. So we could look at by county, but I kind of think that's too big. So what we really want to do is we want to drill into these hexagons, and we can kind of start to see something that kind of plays out a little bit. So
Honeycomb.
When we're looking at this, what we're finding is we need some of these people. And so let's just say, maybe that number's 10,000 or something like that. We need like a baseline of 10,000 customers to kind of get in the door. But we're not talking about the New York Cities or the DCs. And so really there's kind of an upward on this or like a higher bounds on this as well. So let's see, hold on, 35,000. What was that? So when you do something like this, or maybe let's try 25,000. We can kind of start to see that like there's a lot of these places are just either in or adjacent to these markets where we've got a range of our target market group. It's not, these, very highest part of the world. It's not your New York Cities. It's not your Cook counties, in Chicago. It's not LA. It's kind of the mid-market, the big mid-market. And if we kind of start to get even closer, I think you can actually get a better feel for it if we zoom in a little bit, and you can kind of see we're kind of looking for the orange. We're not looking for the red. We definitely don't want the white either, or the really light color. We want that in between, because that's just kind of where this COhatch Brandon seems to thrive. And if we're to come down here and we can even find that, sure enough, our Lakeland site kind of fits that bill as well. What we don't see is that in, your Atlantas, your Dallas, if we really drill all the way down to create, a different resolution of these hex bins, you can see that we're just kind of looking for these pockets, of that kind of person. And so, it's kind of a weird thing to say that you're looking for, you're looking for a certain number of these people, but you don't want too many of them.
Right. That's right. That would probably mean more competition as well.
Sure.
Well, it also probably means you're in a very urban environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking for a group of these people. You're not looking for, the biggest office markets in the country because that's just not where Hatch has been successful. I don't know if they've even, I don't know about their past. I don't know if they have a history in the biggest markets in the country, but in those that Cleveland, Indianapolis, Cincinnati seem to really be thriving.
Mm-hmm. Can we zoom towards Atlanta and Duluth a little bit? And I might be getting ahead of you here, but so in Duluth, we're not seeing that much, right? That orange color, but we are seeing it.
Yeah. What do we got? Duluth is just kind of north here. So,
right. But we see it on the west side more. Well, we kind of want to stay out of Atlanta.
I don't know.
Like Athens, it maybe.
There's always there's part of it that's the art, and then there's part of it that's the science.
Yeah.
And so, anytime you're using the live example, it's like, oh, well, I wonder what the real cause of that is. But as I was just kind of thinking about, what these different markets look like, I just couldn't help but think that, it's the second tier market where this group is really thriving. And so if you were looking, to seek out these areas where there is kind of similar numbers to these other markets, it's Knoxville, it's Raleigh, it's Salt Lake City, it's not New York, DC, San Francisco, Seattle.
Right. So basically what you're saying is it could be the fact that Atlanta is more of a top tier market and Duluth is so close to Atlanta. That could be a possible reason it's not performing as well.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of these places, you start to get some really good, word of mouth advertising from your other locations. They've got 3 really good locations in Columbus. And it's like, okay, they've got this, I think from the list, it looked like there was one in Atlanta and there's another one coming soon, but they don't have the synergy of multiple locations in the marketplace like they do in some of these other places that I think can make a really big difference as well.
Oh, so like adding a couple more near Atlanta, near Duluth.
Yeah, you
could
create like an
help.
Ecosystem.
That's right.
There,
That's right.
Instead of a one-off. And
it's like, my friend, I went to visit my friend. I met him there at the COhatch. I wish I had a place closer to where I live, which is on the other side of Atlanta. Oh, there is one. Oh, this is great. Oh, and they all help each other be better. Because I would initially think like, okay, this one's not doing very well. Then let's scrap this market and go where it's working. But there's that other factor, like you said, there's science and art.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe other locations would really help this one. Or maybe the right call is to, who knows, but.
But what we noticed was all of our top demographics for the top performing COhatches are the psychographics. When we looked at the one at Duluth, the psychographics were different. Yeah. You had the modern minds or whatever.
Yeah, you had your top tapestry levels or categories were different.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's from an actual age breakdown and population and income, it's not that different, but it's a different consumer.
Right. But modern minds and laptops and lattes seem pretty similar. I mean, we didn't really dive deep into the specifics of what makes those two different, but It sounds a little similar to me.
This episode is sponsored in part by Site2Do Business, the ultimate commercial real estate data analysis and mapping tool. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, Site2Do Business provides the data and insights you need to make informed decisions and close deals faster. Frankly, it's the tool that I use the most in my business. Access comprehensive market analysis, demographic data, and powerful mapping tools like ArcGIS, Placer AI, and flood maps all in one place. Identify the best locations for your clients, analyze market trends, and present your findings with confidence. Don't miss out on this game-changing platform. Visit stdb.com today and see how it can optimize your business. And now back to the show.
Yeah, so the way that they organized the Tapestry chart, and this is kind of, hold on, I'm going to have to share my tab instead. If we come down here, we actually did it. We're learning.
Yeah.
We're getting there. It's kind of interesting the way that it's all organized, because it's partly all about socioeconomics, but then it's also about urbanization and different levels of urbanization that make up these different segments. And so you see,
you're going to have to share again. There we go.
Man, I had so much, I was so proud of you there for a second.
I know, but it just like reloaded the screen, and then that's what did me in. It wasn't,
yeah, I got you.
No,
I got you.
I'm
okay.
making excuses.
We'll give you a pass on that one.
And so, if we come in here and we find our,
there's Modern Minds.
Oh, wow.
D3.
There's all of them.
Yeah. There's all of them together.
Boom burbs.
Boom burbs.
The boom burbs.
Let's see. And so if we see Modern Minds.
Scenic byways. I love these names.
So we got our Modern Minds. Trendsetters. So your laptops and lattes, they definitely have a little higher income than your Modern Minds.
Okay.
But let's see, what do we
They're
got?
younger.
Yeah.
It seems. They're like, it said like, or 20s.
Yeah, a little different. And then you got your Trendsetters and your Metro Renters. But yeah, you think about who is the co-working customer.
Right.
That's kind of an interesting, they're not working for big companies. Some
young entrepreneurs, maybe.
Yeah, you definitely get a breakdown of that young entrepreneur type. I don't know. What do you see, Bo?
I see some pretty colors arranged categorically. No, I think what I saw was I never would have thought of doing such a small drive time to see who's actually like right there. I thought that was really smart. And then combining them all into one study area to see who your top 4 or 5 Tapestry segments are.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have thought about that. What I would have done would have been the hard way. And maybe I could have come to the same place, but I would have done a drive time on each location. I would have run that Tapestry segmentation profile on each one, and I would have I probably would have thrown it in a spreadsheet and okay, where do we have a lot of overlap and stuff? But to combine it like he did just gets you there that much quicker. And to create the custom variable of those segments, throw that on a map with hex bins, which there's nothing special about the shape of a hexagon, except that it's the only shape that perfectly fits and covers the entire map.
Right.
If you do circles, you're going to have overlaps and gaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So hexagons, that honeycomb perfectly. And you can see where else, as soon as he did that, I was like, oh man, I can go right back to my buddy and say, look, here's who your customer is.
Right.
And here's where you ought to look. Based on the data, this is where you ought to look.
Yeah.
And it was
the fact that he combined all those markets into one, is that something you would know how to do? Or could you said you wouldn't have thought to do that? So I'm just curious, is that because this can do so much? There's no way anyone but Ben Wilson knows exactly how to use this tool to its full capacity, I would imagine. Is that something you knew you could do?
Yes, I knew you could do it. It just I don't think it would have ever occurred to me to do it.
Right. Everybody uses it in their own way, and you probably have your habits that you've created and how to use it.
Yep. So, and I certainly don't. I bet if you graphed it, maybe I've got 20% mastery on what this can
okay.
do.
You're totally lowballing yourself. You got
really?
you got
you
more
think?
of it figured out than you think you do.
Because it seems like there's just so much power here.
Well, I bet there's 20. The 20% you don't know feels like 80%.
No, maybe that's true, but
yeah.
Well,
I
this
agree
is
with you, Ben.
super interesting, and I think will be helpful to my buddy. But I thought it'd be really cool to like give you an actual use case.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's use the tool in something.
I love
life.
a live case because there's no hiding. You know, it's real easy to make up a case study where everything works out in the end and there's one obvious winner, and it's like, guys, that's not how this works.
Okay, so if I were going to take this one step further, what the question I have in my mind is, can we get to the point where this thing just tells me, based on, let's say we want a minimum of 10,000 of our cocktail custom variable, at least 10,000 up to 30,000. Like if those are the parameters, like if those are the right numbers, will this just spit out to me, these are the markets you should look at?
Sure. So let's go ahead and do it. So let's say we want to create a map where we're looking for that group of people, and we've created our custom variable. So what I'm going to do is when I go into browse all variables, I go into my all custom variables. So this is our target market. That's what I named it. I probably want to give it a different name the next time around. But we can see, what's the number? Okay. So is it, the true number that we're looking for? It's probably, I think we decided like 10,000 would really kind of nail it. So it's like if you do 10,000 to 35,000, okay, what does that give us? It's like, okay, you got, so of the map area that we're looking at, there's about 3,200 potential locations, but 76 of them meet the criteria. And it's like, okay, where are they? Well, they're in Indianapolis. You've got a location. You do have a location that would meet the criteria in Chicago. You might be worried about going in there, but you can, you see there's a location in Louisville.
Yeah, this is just one data point.
Yeah. This is one of the part of the equation. If you wanted to add an additional variable, maybe you said, hey, we want to know just total business concentration. You're just looking for total number of businesses because you think, hey, the more businesses, the better the chance we've got of getting some of these businesses into our location. And, from the list that you sent, there was also variables like number of high schools, top performing high schools, number of small businesses, any of that kind of thing you could look at, and you can start looking at multiple variables at once. And now we're saying, okay, so now what we're looking for is total number of businesses. So we're looking for larger circles and we're looking for darker colors on our map. And so it's like, okay, where are those larger circles? Or we could change the way that we look at this even. We could say, you know what, that's too hard for my eyes to see. We could change the way we view this. So we're looking at a certain color. So instead of looking at like low, we want high and high. So we're looking for kind of we're looking for this brown color.
Okay.
And so you can start to filter these things out, however you say, saying we're never going to be in a place that's got under, 2,500 businesses. Okay, well, that's going to automatically filter those out. And so we can start to see, okay, maybe Richmond could be a market that we consider. It looks like we do have a couple locations in Cincinnati. It looks like there's one location in Lexington. I mentioned earlier, I said Raleigh, I thought, had real potential with a good location in Charlotte. Some of those kind of intermediate markets really would kind of jump off the page at me.
Yeah. This really shows the value of a commercial real estate broker, because just like someone who they've got something wrong with their car, I could go to YouTube and see how to fix it and figure it out myself. Like this business owner friend of yours, he's trying to figure out why this isn't working or where to open up new locations. It's a great tool, you would think, for him to have and be able to use. However, not everybody like this to have an expertise in this tool. So it shows like the value of a commercial real estate broker.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Or the broker that can use the tool.
Well, yes,
there are very successful brokers in commercial real estate who are completely relational. They don't worry about the numbers and the data. They just help people get in there and solve their problems.
Yeah.
All right. And and I'm not denigrating this at all.
Sure.
Like, they're huge. Now, I'm not really one of those guys. Like, I'm just naturally more numbers driven. So you give me a tool like this and I just start frothing at the mouth a little bit. Like,
yeah.
This is like, whew. And then if somebody says, man, and as we look to expand, where should we go? It's like, man, if you give me the ability to answer that question by the numbers, I walk in there with a tremendous amount of confidence. Like, hey, look, it worked in Columbus and Cincinnati, so why wouldn't it work in Louisville or whatever? And let's just find you a building you like in one of the suburbs, and you should be good, right? We're just repeating the process. Should be fine. Well, all of a sudden, there's a Duluth location that this didn't perform like the other ones. Mm-hmm. And now I can go back to him and say, hey, look, here's who your people are. Like, you might have been thinking in terms of age and income, but turns out there's much more nuance to this. And here's who your people, like laptops and lattes, these are your people.
Right.
And I could tell you exactly where they are.
Yeah, right.
In anywhere in the United States, I can tell you exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And how many there are, and if there's enough, and if you know.
And why, if there's too many, it's not going to work based on this color.
And then they can share with me, hey, here's some other layers of data that we like to filter in. And then we can build a model that can predict their success.
Right.
And every new location will have a greater likelihood of success, and will give us another data point to bring in new data to see if our model works, and we can continue to hone it in and tweak it over time.
Right.
Then you get something that's like, ooh, buddy.
All those brokers that are frothing at the mouth right now, we're showing you an example of how this works, but we're not digging into exactly how to do it. But that's why this class, CI 102, exists, because that's what you do. That's what you teach.
Yeah, so
right?
It's a little bit different, but the CI 102 is the market analysis. So what we teach in there is, how do we examine a market? And first thing is to understand it.
Yeah.
How can we understand how to define different types of geographies? Because think about this. We just put all these spots on a map, and then we gave a 3-minute drive time on all of those.
Right.
So like us, as the analyst in this case, we decided what the geography was.
That's right.
That's functional geography, where the analyst describes what it is, or decides what it is.
Right,
okay?
right.
Formal geography is the stuff that they say. We've talked about this way back when, but like state lines. Like, if we looked at the demographics of a state, we're looking at formal geography. I didn't decide the shape of Kentucky and where the boundaries are.
Right.
That's formal geography. So we talk about how to use the different types and what makes more sense, and how do we learn a market? And then how can we actually predict demand?
Right.
Looking at job data and economic base analysis in some of these models, how do you look at a market and say, look, what I want to do in this market will actually work here?
Right, right.
102 answers that question, and we use Site to Do Business as kind of the base, the foundational tool of that course, because, I mean, look what he just did.
Right.
You can't get better demand side information than this. And when we're talking about demand side, we're talking about the people in a place.
That's right. Yeah. This is a great way to lead into the question I have right now, which is, you've got the side of this where you've got to understand how to use the tool, right? Like the technical, where do I click? What do I do? There's the side of it where you got to understand what you're looking for and what to give it and how to go, which that can be very difficult, which leads me into like AI. One thing AI is good at, of course, you got to prompt it and tell it what you want, but then it starts to prompt you into, here's the next step. Do you want me to do this? Blah, 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 blah. So my question to you, and Ben, you might know this, with AI, how, what does that look like for Site to Do Business? I can just see it being such a huge tool to make your job easier. And
oh yeah.
What's it looking like in the future?
So a couple of things that kind of come to mind right off the bat. We got really lucky with a new hire at at Site to Do Business at the beginning of the year. Bo, I don't know how much time you spent with Bryant Chile, but
quite a bit, man.
Oh, you say that name all the time.
Yeah.
Chile! That's right.
He was my
Chile
student.
Cook-off.
oh, is that right?
He was my student in 102.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
The Chile Cook-Off.
That's
Remember?
right.
Yeah.
Chile Cook-Off.
He has got me turned into an absolute junkie for Gamma.
Oh, baby.
Come
We
on.
just did an episode on how to prompt Chat GPT to create the presentation that you want to give.
Right.
And its output is the Gamma prompt.
Right.
So you just throw it into Gamma, and the first time I did a weak version of that, I sent it to Bryant. And I was like, hey, look what I just did. Like, what am I missing? And he said, tell ChatGPT to create the prompt for Gamma specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh
yeah.
And that turned 30 minutes into 10 minutes. And I mean,
So you
Yeah,
all
baby.
got super lucky.
Yes.
Getting Bryant.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And, I've done a couple of presentations. We've got on the Texas coast here, we've got all of these. I don't know how familiar you are with these like liquefied natural gas plants that are going in. And so it's big business. Exxon, Shell, the biggest super majors in the oil industry are trying to figure out ways to get our natural gas, liquefy it, and ship it all over the world. Well, what does that mean for these little tiny towns like Beaumont, Texas, and all these little tiny, never heard of Port Orange, Texas? All of a sudden, you've got $1 billion.
Our brother lives in Corpus Christi.
Yes, they've got
what
one
about
there.
Corpus Christi?
Yes, they've got all of a sudden they've got $10 billion, $100 billion projects going into their backyard. Well, what ends up happening is you get all these engineers from these places, and before you know it, you've got all this tax revenue. And so they're trying, all these groups, all these cities, these EDCs are trying to figure out a way to spend their money effectively to really build the infrastructure, so that they have a town, they've got schools, they've got community, they've got, the right market mix of retail and office and industrial, to where they're not just a one-trick pony. And, they've got the revenue that they can spend it. Well, anyways, a couple of them they have reached out to try to get assistance. And so what I'll do is I'll take all the data that I can get out of Site to Do Business, whether it's business data, whether it's the data out of, business analyst, lifestyle data, where are people coming in from? And I just load it into Gamma and I just tell it to go run. And, you turn around and give that presentation back to them and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that, we could have this kind of professional presentation turned around. It's unbelievable. And
so quickly.
yes.
Yeah, so fast.
Yes. And then it's like, sometimes you got to edit it around a little bit, but it's
Sure.
like, my goodness, I remember it used to take me forever to do a PowerPoint presentation, and I always be ticked about the font size not showing up right, and it just doesn't have a good look to it. And
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
so that was one of the things. One of the other things that Esri has made massive improvements in here on is just this new business analyst assistant. I don't know if you've spent any time in here, but let's just say we want to look at the coffee shops in Owensboro. Instead of me having to go to define my market as Owensboro, I can just add points of interest, and it's all of a sudden going to show me your 15, coffee shops in Owensboro.
Yeah, man, we're killer.
15, baby.
Hey,
La creme.
a couple of
Shout out.
scooters.
Yeah, we got some scooters now. They're relatively
We just
new.
got a 7 brew.
Yeah, we got a 7 brew. That's new.
Starbucks. Sure, we got good look. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I think that this, they're still calling this their beta version of this because they're still troubleshooting it. But man, when they get this thing humming, it's going to take away all the click by click, step by step instructions,
Right.
because we can't be trying to teach people how to use software in today's world. We're in the AI generation all of a sudden, and
That's right.
you think you're going to tell people, oh, you got to learn to click here and then do this. And it's like,
And that's
No.
that's such a huge step forward, because Site to Do Business, like, you get a taste of it today, how powerful it is.
Yeah.
But any really powerful tool has a really steep learning curve.
Right.
Like, ease of use and power are generally never together, and AI bridges that gap
Right.
because it takes the learning curve away, and you can just tell it what you want, prompt it, and the better it gets at actually being able to just deliver for
Right.
you. It's like, man, that makes powerful, easy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's you won't need, Ben, you might be working yourself out of a job.
No, not that word.
It'll make teaching 102 a lot easier.
That's right.
Right. I mean, this is a tool where you all have access to all this data. Are you worried at all about AI's capability outside of Site to Do Business to be able to, for people to be able to access the data outside of Site to Do Business and Esri?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that. And, it really isn't kind of an interesting thing to think about. As Esri certainly put up some fences over the years about, what data is inside and what data is outside. But it's funny. I did some work for a restaurant franchise group and, plugged some things into ChatGPT, and it was talking about Tapestry segments. And the way it is right now, it says, to learn more about these Tapestry segments, go to Business Analyst. But you just wonder how much longer before all the information's there.
That's right. And because it's true. But having this tool that you all already have, that's great. And I can just see really incorporating AI into it or ChatGPT into it. Don't give it the data, but incorporating it inside this tool that people already know how to use, where you've got the map, right? I can't go to ChatGPT and be able to do all this stuff that you can do with the map and the hexagons and all that. Incorporating that in there could be the way to extinguish the concern of AI, the future of AI. Anyway, I am an expert.
Well, what else? Show us something else cool.
The group COhatch was really interested in small businesses. And one of the things that I don't know if people realize is available to them, but if they are,
oh man, I use this all the
you
time.
can come in here and create any kind of filter. And so let's just say that we decided North Carolina was an interesting market for us, and we wanted to do a little research here. And we're interested in specific types of businesses. And so we're thinking about office using jobs. And so likely that's things like, finance, maybe some retail trade. You could go in and you could choose the different, sectors that you're specifically interested in. But once you come in here, maybe you're interested in some service industry work as well. You can come in here and you can say, okay, I only want businesses, with their email presence, or you'll notice that one of the filters here is small business indicator. And so if we say, okay, we only want to look at small businesses, now, we can get a list of, the entire state of North Carolina and all of their potential clients that we might have here. We got 300,000 of them. We might say, well, that's ridiculous. That's way too many businesses for us to think about right now. So we're going to revise our search. And now, instead of just looking at, North Carolina, maybe we want to look at the metro area of,
Raleigh.
Yeah. And so now we can get to a point where we've got a list of potential clients. And so, if we are COhatch and we're having our grand opening, maybe we start doing a little work on our space. We want to start reaching out to these groups and saying, hey, we know that you're in our community. We would love for you to be potential clients, if not today, in the future. This is what we do. This is how we, make the community a better place. And so, being able to have access to this business data. And again, if you can say, hey, I only want the ones that have email addresses, or I want to look at a specific type of business. I want to go in here and look at Trident Holdings. You get all the corresponding information. How much money is this? How many locations? How many businesses? Who are their competitors? Is there any information about, people that we can reach out to here, an executive directory? I think that can be a real useful tool as well.
Wow. Data view.
I think I've actually shown you data view before, because when we get a new listing, we try to anticipate like who the user or who the tenant needs to be. And we'll decide on the geography, and we'll do a search for every type of that company or those companies that we just, based on our experience, think that would be a good, and we'll build a list. And instead of just putting a sign up and hoping somebody who needs space sees it, we start calling and emailing them.
Right.
And it's our targeted list, and we get a lot of success out of this, and we can fill these spaces faster or sell these buildings faster because we're proactively targeting people, and this is where we get our data.
Uh-huh.
And I'd say like the phone numbers and the emails and stuff are probably 70 to 80% good.
Wow.
Which is 70 to 80% better than you have if you don't use it.
That's right. Yeah.
Some people complain, all the data's not right. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I
just continue to do nothing. And
I had someone that was complaining about the number of they did mailers and got about 15% of them back in the mail, and they were complaining about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good.
Right.
It's like, you mean you got 85% of them right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, take the win, man.
Yeah, take the win. Well, that's why you don't have a whole lot of top producer Todd Humphreys around. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because that's what that guy does, man.
Yeah.
We build these lists, and he pounds the phones and sends out emails and follows up, and he's just not waiting for people to call.
No, he's not. There's always somebody in his office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I hope that Site to Do Business sticks around forever, because they are one of our biggest sponsors.
Yes, that's true.
So,
let's keep the band together.
Yeah, let's do it.
Look, okay, they do sponsor the show. Mm-hmm. All right. Even if they didn't, we would have had this episode, because like this is just powerful stuff. You want to be good.
We have many episodes before they were sponsors going through Site to Do Business.
Yeah, and I've shown this off a lot just because I'm trying to teach you how we do what we do, you know?
Right.
But like this is more than any other tool that I use. This is the thing that makes me the most dangerous and the most effective, is because I have the data to make great decisions, and data to help my clients make great decisions.
Right.
And man, to be able to take a tremendous amount of data and to put it on a map, it tells a story. It allows you to soak up the takeaways from that data so quickly. I mean, like we saw what it looked like when he threw those hex bins on there and created that custom variable, and you could see right away.
Right.
Man, they ought to be looking at those markets.
Right.
You know, it's right there on the map. And
that's right.
Saves a lot of time, and it's just a very, very powerful tool.
Yeah.
So if you are out there and you also want to be dangerous, like, man, check out Site to Do Business.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And
I'll give you Ben's cell phone number.
It's out there.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I won't.
No, you can find it pretty easily.
Don't tell people that. Don't give them any ideas. But
yeah. Well, Ben, thank you for doing this, especially since we had to do a take 2 of this and take twice your time. This is phenomenal. No, I love going through this.
I appreciate y'all having me. It is always a pleasure. And Bo, I guess I'll see you up in Vancouver here in about a month or so.
Oh. No. You will see both of us in Vancouver.
Yep, I'll be there.
This guy, Timmy Barron, is the MC of the Fall Forum in Vancouver.
Timmy in the flesh?
Timmy in the flesh.
Oh my
Timmy
God.
in the flesh.
Timmy,
emceeing the event.
We're going to have to hug it out, right. Timmy.
Yeah, in real life, I'm 98.6 degrees mostly. So that's going to be awesome.
Okay.
In fact, because Timmy is going, my parents are going.
No way.
And so mom and dad will be there, and the famous Alice from Superpowers will also be there. We're flying Alice in. So we've never met her in the flesh either. And so that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be super exciting. I bet Bridget right now is feeling a ton of FOMO.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Bridget. Maybe next time.
All right, cool. Ben, is there anywhere you would want to point people to contact you, or would you point people to where do you want our listeners to know in order to
STDB.com. You click on contact us. You can't miss me. Ben Wilson, bwilson at CCIM.com. Generally available to answer your questions and help you figure out whatever your commercial real estate needs are.
Amazing. Ben Wilson, what are you laughing at now?
Bridget
What's she
sends a chat. She's like, true. Ha, ha, ha. I guess with the FOMO.
Yeah. It is true. Well, Ben, I can't wait to meet you in the flesh, and that's going to be great. Thanks again.
All right. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
So what we learned is Ben can click a map and instantly tell me how many people in a zip code drink kombucha, own dogs, and vote libertarian. I'm sorry, I need a minute.
Or you can just enroll in CI 102 and I'll show you how it works.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Angel's Envy in Louisville, Kentucky. The class is in the distillery, September 8th through 11th.
And you're doing that with Michael Hieronymus.
Yes, with friend
Michael
of the
Hieronymus.
show, Michael Hieronymus, AI expert. It's going to be incredible.
And both, this is what he teaches. Market analysis and site to do business is a big part of this. Like, if you were into these classes are what to go to. Sorry, go ahead, Bo.
September 22 through 25, I'll be teaching in Missoula, Montana.
Yes.
Which I can't wait. I love it up there.
Brokerback Mountain.
And then October 20 to 23 in Miami, Florida with my good buddy Stanley Niezdowski.
Ooh.
CCIM, and Will Curtis is going to be with us there as well out of San Antonio. So that'll be great. So please join us.
Fantastic. So that's Louisville, Kentucky, Montana, or Miami, Florida. 3 options. It's going to be, I would go to the Angel's Envy one.
Yeah, only one is in a distillery.
That's right. It's going to be cool. Or you can hire a virtual assistant to figure it out for you. But a virtual assistant could do everything else so you can become the expert at Site to Do Business. You can go to superpowershq.com/commercially speaking. Let them polygon while you nap. For those in the back, that's superpowershq.com/commercially speaking.
And please subscribe to our newsletter at subscribe.wgbarron.com. Follow us, share the show, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
And Barbara, if you're still out there, I've run the Psychographic match. It's a 98% alignment. You, me, this show. Let's make it weird.
Oh, boy. All right. I love you, brother.
I love you, too. Bye,
Bye, Alice.
Bye.
Bye, Bridget.
Bye.